Hello, and welcome to this week's service. We are coming to you from the church today. I've been cleaning the carpet in the sanctuary, and we've been playing around with the seating arrangement to try to figure out the physical distancing thing, so when we're eventually able to start back. So in other news, the other day, John and we moved our snow shovel off of the porch, and so that's why we had snow on the ground yesterday morning when we woke up. Okay. So I'm Rachel Tremblay. Our music is being brought to you by Sebastian Birch, and our speaker today is going to be Brenda Bey. Our prayer chaplains play an important role in our spiritual community. This week, Shannon Ensign Spilios is going to be the prayer chaplain. So please contact Shannon for prayer support, or you may call the office. And remember to keep Reverend Rose in your prayers. She's having tests done at the Cleveland Clinic on May 12th. And since our speakers have the opportunity to prepare the recordings ahead of time, she's still going to be our speaker next week. And that's all I have for this week's announcements. If you have anything you want in our Sunday announcements, just let me know, and I can get it in there for you. So you can contact me via the church email or leaving a voicemail for me. Let's start with our vision statement together.
Unity offers positive, practical spirituality based on the teachings of Jesus Christ. We honor and respect all paths to God. Our doors are open to all who seek to find their unity with God and all life.
Okay, and now I'm going to light the Christ candle, and I invite you to light one at your home as well. This represents the Christ in each and every one of us, in this room, in the room you're in, and in the world. Let's say our weekly affirmation together.
I now give and receive God's unlimited, constant, and extraordinary abundance and joy. I am a prosperous, loving child of God. Unity now gives and receives God's unlimited, constant, and extraordinary abundance and joy.
The daily word for today is Mother's Blessing. I honor all mothers, and I am grateful for their love. I bless my mother and am grateful to her for the gift of nurturing love. Whether my mother is still with me or has passed on, her love lives in my heart and her wisdom continues to inspire me. I am grateful for the many ways my mother has blessed me. I also feel deep appreciation and tender affection for all those who have blessed me with the selfless gift of motherly love. I would not be who I am without them. Through the living example of the mothers in my life, I pass along the blessings of a mother's care and devotion as I embrace opportunities to share an affirming thought, an encouraging word, a smile, or a simple act of kindness. I honor my mother and all mothers as I share the love of God that never fails. And from Proverbs 31, verse 26, she opens her mouth with wisdom, and the teachings of kindness is on her tongue.
At this time, we'd like to recognize and acknowledge all the prayers that have been placed in the prayer box in faith. Dear God, we thank you for the ability to communicate with you. We realize you know our needs before we even know what is best for us. We appreciate this channel of communication and the healing it provides us, our loved ones, and everyone else in our circle. All of this we thank you for in the name of the living Christ. Amen. Now we have an opportunity in a quiet but yet audible tone to mention the names of any persons that may be in our prayers this Sunday morning. And so it is. Amen. Now we have an opportunity to give back to our spiritual home, a spiritual community that feeds and nourishes us not only on Sundays, but during the week and at other times through our fellowship with one another. Together, divine
love in me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive, and I am grateful. Take all that we are and all that we have, and then we circulate. Take the gifts that God gives and the love that we live, and then we circulate. Look around and we share to show others we care, to extend God's plan of love. To be all that we are, to share all that we have, and then we circulate.
Dear God, we are grateful for these gifts. We appreciate the abundance and prosperity of the universe in which we live. We know these gifts will go to much good in serving our congregation and the community in which we serve. For all of this, we are thankful. We are grateful. In the name of the living Christ we pray. Amen.
Good morning. Today is Mother's Day, May 10th, the second Sunday of the month. In our country, we set aside this day to celebrate mothers and motherhood. Similar celebrations take place around the world, points east, west, north, and south, but not necessarily on the same day. In years past, there have been millions of cards mailed, tons of flowers delivered, and gifts galore sent. Families have gathered for brunches, luncheons, dinners, but this Mother's Day is bittersweet because many families across the globe unexpectedly lost their mothers, young, old, and in between. And in many cases, they did not get a chance to be with their loved one in their final days. They did not get a chance to say goodbye. No fond farewell, comforted, supported, and surrounded by loved ones, sharing pleasant remembrances, tears, laughter, and quiet moments of reflection. Not this time, and it is truly heartbreaking. So I greet you once again. Good morning, and welcome to a different Mother's Day. I titled my message, Mother May I. It harkens back to a game that was played when I was a little girl. One by one, each child would ask, Mother May I, and listen for an affirmative response in order to move a certain number of steps forward. And that's sort of how life is generally. We want to move forward. We ask our mothers, fathers, teachers, and others in authority if we may move forward. And we want to get that affirmative response. So I say to you, to me, to all of us, are we continuing to ask that same question, although it may be formatted a bit differently? Mother, may I? Are we asking perhaps unconsciously as we go about our day-to-day lives, seeking permission, seeking guidance, seeking acceptance, and most of all, seeking love? I want to share with you that I hadn't planned to speak on Mother's Day. I left it up to chance. But once the date was assigned, I knew that my message needed to focus on mothers and motherhood, even though it didn't have to. But I was doubtful about just what I would say. I thought I would have to scour the Bible and come up with stories and inspiration. But a friend helped me realize that I could best speak from my own experience. And I agreed. There's not much more truth than that. So here I am today, speaking to you of my relationship with my mother, as well as my own experience as a mother and as a grandmother. In the African American tradition, we seek first permission from our ancestors. Therefore, as I go along, I will periodically pose the question, Mother, may I? So, Mother, may I share our story? On the day of my birth, when she marveled at me and touched my tiny fingers, I grabbed, though could not see. So with a single touch, our lifelong bond began, and from the start, I held my mother's hand. I watched the world around me, and soon I learned to crawl and took some wobbly steps and fell and learned to bawl. She spoke and smiled with soothing words and helped me learn to stand. I learned to reach and held my mother's hand. The first day of school, I crossed the street. So many firsts I had to meet, from daughter to wife to mother and more. How could I know what lay in store? In the end, as death drew quietly near, just like some master plan, she looked at me pleadingly. I held my mother's hand. I was born to an unwed mother. By the time of my birth, she had lost her mother and her father. At the start, she had family support and assistance, including her stepfather. But eventually, she struck out on her own. She placed me and my brother in the homes of non-family members, similar to today's foster care arrangements. My early years were spent living with other families and in the care of women other than my biological mother until I reached the age of 7.5. I didn't see anything wrong with the way that I was being raised, even as I got older. But sometimes I wonder, what might I have missed during those years that would have contributed to my development? Over time, I have come to realize my mother was faced with a burden that she could have abandoned but chose not to. And I've come to appreciate what she must have gone through, working to support us, not seeing us on a daily basis, visiting us on her days off, which were not many, making sure we were exposed outside of our impoverished community. For example, my mother made sure I had ballet lessons and tap lessons. Mother, may I thank you and carry the burden of that memory. You willingly brought us into this life. You nurtured us. You protected us. You supported us. And you sacrificed for us. As a young girl, I remember challenging my mother, giving her a hard time when it came to decisions that I felt did not favor me. I withheld my trust and approval. As I matured into my teenage years and even into adulthood, I found myself blaming my mother, finding fault. I felt I had been wounded, and a wounded child becomes a wounded adult. Only now, after living many years into middle age, have I come to see things from what may have been my mother's point of view. She loomed big and powerful in my eyes. Her mistakes were magnified. I now seek to bring an end to that story. Mother, may I see you as having been human, no more, no less than any other. You did the best you knew how, even as I secretly punished you. Each time you stumbled, each time you fell. Mother, may I now reach out my hand and lift you up, if only in my memory. May I dry the many tears I caused you to shed. Mother, sometimes there were words unspoken that may have corrected my behavior. Similar unspoken words might have also corrected your behavior. That is a lesson I learned from my own children, your grandchildren, who love you dearly and speak of you fondly. Words that sometimes caused pain and hurt, yet carried within them wisdom, and it had nothing to do with their youth. In their own way, they were saying, Mother, please let us help you. Mother, pay attention. When I became a mother, I was determined to write a different story. I would be married, and it would be forever. My partner would not be abusive. I wanted to spare my children that experience. My children would live with me no matter what, and on and on and on. So many promises I made to myself, and one by one, they nearly all were broken. And I thought I was broken. Mother, in those moments, you helped me realize I was not broken. And by reflection, I came to know that you were not broken either. You were whole, and you made me whole. In my naivete, I couldn't see your strength. Mother, may I now recast you as a woman of power. Mother, as I watched my own children grow, I imagined that we looked through the same eyes and shared the same heartbeat, that we knew the same doubts and fears and pain. I am ashamed that I put you through all that. how I deceived us both. I tried to be different from you, but I could not, because it wasn't you that I was trying to get away from. It was the image of you that I had created. Mother, may I no longer desire myself to be separate from you, wanting to pull away from your memory, but instead, may I know and share your strength, your generosity, your integrity. May I accept gladly that place of honor as your daughter. I want to interject here that I have 6 children. And it dawned on me about a week ago that each of my children have one mother, and that I am that one mother. I am seen in 6 different ways. They each have a different collection of experiences and memories associated with me. Consider that I have been confronted by each of them at different times about some misstep. I have taken those missteps, and I don't mind saying that I get stumped, because everything gets multiplied. The 6 of them know me in their individual ways, plus I know the 6 of them individually. That's 12 ways of knowing or being known. It can drive you crazy. This motherhood thing is not for the faint-hearted. But there's more. I have 7 grandchildren. The memories and experiences grow exponentially, but so do the joys. And there is nothing sweeter sounding than grandma. When it came to preparing this message about my mother and my motherhood experience, to all mothers, I developed labor pains, not physically, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually. My mind ushered forth this creation, and I was amazed. I was amazed at what I saw in my mind's eye, what I heard, and what I experienced. I had begun to feel unsure, insecure, and doubtful. So I asked, Mother, may I seek your guidance? And I was infused with confidence and courage. I was reminded of my abilities and my talents. Mother, you're with me even now. My mother made her transition in August of 2000, nearly 20 years ago. On that fateful day in August, and for many days, weeks, months, and even years that followed, I felt that I had been left, abandoned. That may be how my mother felt when I struck out on my own in order to start my life and that of my family. I didn't communicate with her, not very well. I didn't have a phone, I couldn't drive, and I didn't have a car. But even with my mother being gone, the enormity of her being and her presence live with me today. It's more than just a memory. It's the essence of her, how she lived her life. There was a time when I felt that essence overshadowed me. Somehow I was attached to it, and I sought to separate from it. But I could no more do that than separate from my own soul. Over time, I came to realize that there was, or there is, an unbreakable bond between us. And through the awareness that I receive, I get to make shifts and corrections in the lives of us both. To heal and change the trajectory of the legacy I inherited, even from generations past. Mother, may I thank you for placing me here in this time and space. to continue this journey and to pass the torch. Mother, may I walk where you've walked. Mother, may I touch as you've touched. Mother, may I see through your eyes, hear through your ears, love from your heart. Mother, may I comfort you now. Mother, may I speak of your heart. Mother, I seek your guidance, your wisdom, your love. Mother, please tell me. Mother, we are one, I know. Years before I would not say, but now, Mother, I am yours, you are mine today. As I bring this message to a close, may I offer a statement of gratitude. Mother, may I be ever so thankful for you and for all mothers. And to those who have joined us today, may I encourage you to take a moment. Bring your mother to mind. Wrap her in your heart, because that is where love is. Thank you for your presence. We now enter our time of meditation, and as is our custom, the spoken meditation will be followed by 2 minutes of silence. We are in a space where our spirits are welcome and where there is anticipation of the journey that our spirits will take this morning. I invite you to settle comfortably in your chairs, aligning your body as needed to be fully relaxed, breathing deeply and slowly, unburdened by worries and anxieties of the past or the future. Allow a sense of calm and receptivity to surround you, to enfold you. Allow that divine beingness that lives within to become fully alert and available. Somewhere in the depths of each one of us, there is a knowingness that connects us to the greatest love that exists. The love that is in the heart of God, that shines forth into our hearts. that manifests as a mother's love. As we embrace this great love, mentally, spiritually, even physically, our minds are able to identify and grasp the realization of all that matters in our lives, of the gifts that truly matter. What we have been given, what do we possess that truly matters? We have been given the gift of breath. Consciously experience that breath now. Inhale deeply. Feel the breath as it fills your lungs and bring your awareness to its intention to bring life to every cell within the body. Slowly exhale. To begin this process again and again and again. Your first experience of breath came when you left your mother's womb. There is the gift of touch. Touch that is given, as well as touch that is received. A gift that can carry with it the essence of life itself. The gift of touch can literally transform, neutralize, or activate molecules in a manner that is beyond our capacity and understanding. Consider the healing touch of a mother's love. The gift of thought, of discernment, of questioning, of doubt, of wonder, of surprise, of monotony, of knowing, and of truth. Some gifts are instinctive. Some must be claimed. Within the gift of thought, we are required to claim and exercise our abilities to be understanding and compassionate, to activate our higher minds, to move from within the center where the will of God is known, so that we may be guided by the purpose of the masters, the ones that they know and serve. Experience thought now as the mother that focuses your divine attention. There is the gift of vibration, which creates sight, sound, color, depth, breath, rhythm, and song. Gifts that accompanied you at birth. These gifts are given. They cannot be bought, sold, traded. They cannot be hidden or stolen or held captive. They are recession-proof and do not expire. And brought together into a single form, they constitute our lives, individually and collectively. Breathe. Let this knowing be absorbed. The knowing that the gifts that matter are us. We that have been born into this world. We ourselves as we give to each other. My heart is full as I stand in the midst of you and embrace you as the gift that matters in my life. And I recognize in you love, beauty, song, and joyful expression. Breathe. join me in these 2 minutes of silence to infuse with and surround you the gifts of a mother. As you come out of your 2 minutes of silence, remember that every day is Mother's Day. Every day you get to recognize your mother, be she living or not, as a gift that was given just to you. Namaste.
into our world. Together, the
Spirit of God moves through all people to manifest peace on earth.
Peace on earth.
Christ.